The Houston Astros batting order today against right-hander John Smoltz. Kenny Lofton leading off in center field. Steve Finley will be in right field hitting second. Craig Biggio behind the plate, the number 3 hitter. Jeff Bagwell, likely rookie of the year in the National League, batting cleanup at first base. Luis Gonzalez will be in left field hitting 5th. Ken Caminetti will be at third base in the 6th slot. Andujar Cedeno will be at shortstop, batting in the number 7 position. Casey Candaele at second hits 8th, and Mark Portugal, the pitcher, batting 9th, and a whole slew of rookies in the lineup for the Astros this afternoon.
And in the field for the Atlanta Braves, they'll line up with their usual outfield. Lonnie Smith will play left field. Ronnie Gant will be in center. And David Justice in right. Around the infield where they've really improved, Terry Pendleton at third with Rafael Belliard playing shortstop. The second baseman is Mark Lemke. At first base, Sid Bream. And behind the plate, very durable, Greg Olson does the catching. And the hottest pitcher in the National League, the second half, John Smoltz, will pitch.
And the Braves take the field. Braves have not been over 1 million in home attendance in 4 years, and they have surpassed the 2 million mark. And John Smoltz with a record of 13-13, making his 36th start to try to wrap it up for the Braves today.
Seems kind of deceptive, a record like that, and talk about him as an ace, but he is 11-2. So those numbers you can throw away as you analyze him over the entire season. He's a 4-pitch pitcher, outstanding fastball, and an overhand drop-type curve. A slider and a change, but primarily today he'll be a fastball and a curveball pitcher. And look at the difference from the first half to the last half. Why the improvement in those numbers? A couple of things. Well documented, the visit he made to the sports psychologist. Maybe more important, the little mechanical change, a little slower turn away from the hitter, has enabled him to use his legs better the second half, and those numbers kind of reflect that.
Smoltz has won 5 straight decisions, including a shutout last week. As we look at the umpires, Charlie Williams will be behind the plate. Randy Marsh is at first base. The crew chief, Harry Wendelstedt, at second, and Frank Pulley umpiring over at third. The Atlanta Braves have won 7 straight games, and that matches their longest winning streak of this year. 6 of them were on the just completed road trip, winning 3 in the tough Astrodome, always tough place to win, and then the 3 games in Cincinnati, including that dramatic 7-6 come-from-behind win after they were trailing 6-0 in the first inning.
That's what's been a lot of fun watching this National League West race. It has not been teams that are stumbling. It's been a battle of teams to see who can win the most consecutive games, and phenomenal. The Braves have done that on the road and now doing it at home.
The leadoff hitter for the Astros is Kenny Lofton, who had an outstanding year at AAA at Tucson. He's hitting 200, has been up 70 times. Former basketball star at the University of Arizona, and the first pitch of the ball game from John Smoltz is in there for strike 1. Lofton will be followed by Steve Finley and Craig Biggio. Fastball is up high, and the count is 1-1.
You'll see the Braves align in this manner, the first 2 hitters in the game. Pendleton shallow at third, and Lonnie Smith swung around in left. Smoltz live fastball. Lofton and Finley not power hitters.
Good fastball tailing away from Lofton, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And this is what John Smoltz would like to establish early. A good fastball in the strike zone. Get that first inning or 2 out of the way. Then bring the breaking pitches along.
Breaking ball is inside, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Braves winning last night by a score of 5-2 as Steve Avery won his 18th game of the season, and Alejandro Pena picked up his 15th save, including his performance with the Mets and the Braves. A key man for Atlanta. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball, and it's fouled away.
Yeah, I think during this stretch drive in September, that's been the best acquisition of any of the teams in the race, because there's no better feeling for a player or a team to say, here's the ball, you can lock it up in the ninth, and Pena's been that kind of guy.
A line drive right at the shortstop, Belliard, and there's one away. Rafael Belliard, who has given the Braves not only outstanding defense at shortstop, but a timely bat as well, handles that line drive, and there's one away.
Probably see Finley and Lofton hit the ball in this manner today, because Smoltz has an outstanding fastball. Belliard shifted that way to make the play.
With one out, Steve Finley, the batter. Finley, one of the players coming over in the trade for Glenn Davis, who went to Baltimore and was injured most of the season. But Finley hitting .285, leading the Astros with 169 base hits. Swings at the first pitch, a fastball, and pops it up to the center of the diamond. And the center fielder, Ron Gant, moves in to make the catch for out number 2. Quickly 2 away in the Astros' first inning.
This time of the day, this could be a factor as you see Ronnie Gant look up into the sun. It's what the players call a high sky. He calls the ball, but a little more difficulty than he would have with that ball earlier in the day or tonight. You can see the shadows right there at Fulton County Stadium.
2 down to Craig Biggio, the Astros catcher, who's hitting .297. He was at the 300 mark and will have to go some to finish at 300. First pitch is in there for a strike. Third base coach is former scrap iron infielder Phil Garner, who played for the Pirates and the A's, and Ed Ott, former Pittsburgh Pirate, is over at first base. 2 down, nobody on. Biggio looking for the breaking ball, well behind that good heater by Smoltz, and the count is 0-2. Smoltz is third on the Braves staff in innings pitched coming into this game. 0-2 pitch, and it's popped up to the right side. Bream in foul territory, and the sun is going to play a little havoc. But it's a 1-2-3 inning for John Smoltz. It's the Astros nothing, and the Braves coming to bat. Here's the way the Atlanta Braves will hit against Mark Portugal. Lonnie Smith at left field leading off. Mark Lemke is at second base. Terry Pendleton, who right now leads the National League in batting, followed by Dave Justice, the right fielder, hitting cleanup. Ron Gant in center field hitting fifth. Sid Bream at first base. Greg Olson is behind the plate. Rafael Belliard, the shortstop, and Smoltz on the mound for Atlanta.
And in the field for the Astros as they take the field, Luis Gonzalez is in left field. Kenny Lofton will play center, and Steve Finley is over and right. On the infield, Ken Caminetti is the third baseman. Andujar Cedeno at short. Casey Candaele plays second. Rookie Jeff Bagwell at first, and Craig Biggio will do the catching. He'll catch right-hander Mark Portugal. Mark Portugal in the bullpen for a short time, now back in the starting rotation. One of the more effective Astros starters. Good fastball, breaking pitch, change up, works fast, throws strikes, and is looking forward to this challenge.
And he's going to have a challenge with Lonnie Smith, Lemke, and Pendleton leading off for the Braves in the first inning. Portugal has a 4-2 lifetime record against the Braves, although he's 1-2 this season. Facing Lonnie Smith, in the first pitch is ball one. Smith is hitting .272 with 7 homers and 43 runs batted in. He moved into the left field spot after Otis Nixon was suspended because of his violation of the drug policy of Major League Baseball, and went out after stealing 72 bases for the Braves.
And Lonnie's filled in very well. He is not as good an outfielder as Nixon. He doesn't run as well anymore, but he is a little more of a threat at the plate, and it has not hurt them, the loss of Nixon on the field.
2 balls and 1 strike to Lonnie Smith. Braves have won 9 straight against the Astros this year, a big edge in their season series. They've won 12 of the 16 games, and Portugal falls behind Lonnie Smith 3-1. Art Howe, the manager of the Astros, and Lonnie Smith lines a single to center field. Jim, the Braves are playing with an inordinate amount of confidence, despite the fact that they're sprinkled with so many young players who have never been through this before.
And this is probably a guy that can lead them, because he's been with 3 world champions in the 80s. So even though he is not the player he was 4 or 5 years ago, he has been through this type of pressure. His job is to set the table, and he can still do it.
He has not been an outstanding base stealer, only 9 this year. Mark Lemke leading off, or batting with Smith on, hitting .234, a switch hitter, batting .217 in a left-handed batter, takes ball 1. The Dodgers and the Giants just underway at Candlestick Park. Lemke has been a big plus for the Atlanta Braves, filling in at second base and doing a lot more than just a fill-in player.
He has become their best fielding second baseman. Very good on turning the double play. In fact, if you look at the Braves infield at every position and compare them to last year, they are better in the field. Lemke's an example of that.
Terry Pendleton is on deck. Lemke can handle the bat. See if the Braves try to play hit and run with Pendleton coming up next. There's a fastball in for a strike, 1-1.
Mentioned Portugal looking forward to the challenge. If you're a Dodger fan, Portugal's the guy you want on the mound. He was about to be a closer for the Minnesota Twins. So he likes this type of situation. Years ago, he was challenging for that position.
The 1-1 pitch and a let-up pitch, line to right field, and a base hit. Lonnie Smith will go to second base as Finley gets the ball back to the infield. And it doesn't take long for the Braves to mount a threat.
Well, the object, all the Braves will tell you, is let's get control of this game early. They did last night behind Steve Avery. That is so important when you have a pitcher like John Smoltz on the mound, and they're doing it again.
Here's the big cheers for Terry Pendleton. He's leading the National League with a .318 batting average. 1 point ahead of Tony Gwynn. We don't know if Gwynn's going to play anymore this last weekend. Hal Morris is in third place. And a line drive past the shortstop Cedeno into left field. Lonnie Smith coming around will score as the throw comes in, and it's 1-0 Atlanta. It's 1-0 in favor of the Braves, and Pendleton with his 86th RBI of the year.
One thing managers want in a big game, a team that is ready to play. Well, John Smoltz answered that question in the top of the inning, and now the Braves hitters are answering the same thing. This is a team that is ready and is anticipating what could happen today.
That's not going to hurt Pendleton's chances for the batting title. He leads the league in base hits now with 187. That's not going to be pleasant news for Tommy Lasorda and company out at Candlestick Park as David Justice comes to the plate. Justice with 21 homers and 87 runs batted in. And already we'll have bullpen activity down the left field line for the Astros. Runners at first and second. Nobody out. Sinker misses, 1 ball and 1 strike. Dodgers have been retired, and the Giants coming up in the bottom of the first inning. In for the call strike, 1-2.
This is one player in the Braves lineup that would like to have a good at-bat just to get the day started. He tends to be a little more of an anxious hitter. You saw him chase the breaking pitch on strike 1, and that's probably what Portugal will try to get him to do.
Here's the 1-2 pitch, just misses inside, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dwayne Henry, right-hander, is up and throwing here early for the Astros as Portugal has run into trouble, giving up 3 straight singles to Lonnie Smith, Mark Lemke, and Terry Pendleton. 1-0 in favor of the Braves. Ron Gant is waiting to hit. Ground ball up the middle, and Cedeno bobbles it, and everybody is safe. And the bases are loaded. Cedeno committed 3 errors last night for the Braves, and he's committed number 4 in this series right here.
He has had a horrible game in the start of this game in the field, and it's all worked to the Braves' benefit. There's a ball that could have been an inning-ending double play, or get 2 outs in the top of the first inning, and takes an irregular hop. As a result, they get no outs, and the Braves have them loaded. He has had a tough series here in Atlanta at shortstop on plays that are really not that difficult for a major leaguer.
Portugal not getting help from his defense, and Ron Gant, the batter, with the bases loaded, nobody out. Gant is tied for third. Bob Cluck, the pitching coach of the Astros, going to the mound to, if nothing else, just settle down Mark Portugal.
Settle down Mark Portugal and this entire team, and give the bullpen a little more time to get up. You know, this is such a psychological plus for the Braves. They want to come out, be ready to play, score early, not only to win their game, but what it does for the Dodgers. If there's ever a day for scoreboard watching between Atlanta and Los Angeles, today is a day that is justified.
As you mentioned, Portugal was in the bullpen for 5 appearances, not with much success. His earned run average was over 13. Now back as a starter, where he won 11 games last year, but now in a big jam. 1 run in, the bases are loaded. And Ron Gant. Ken Caminetti, the Astros third baseman, is in the dugout for repairs of some kind, so we have a delay.
Oftentimes your 9th inning happens in the first inning. That's the case for the Houston Astros right now if they want to keep this game under control. And Mark Portugal, who would like to work Ronnie Gant over a little bit with a mixture of fastballs and breaking pitches, is in a position where he really has to challenge him and throw him a strike.
So here's Gant, who is 5th in the league in runs batted in with 103. He is 5 for 9 this year with the bases loaded. And this is a big opportunity. Now time called, and Jimmy Williams, the third base coach, goes over and says something to Mark Lemke, the runner. The outfield will play straight away for Gant. Lemke over at third base. Terry Pendleton, whose run-scoring single gave the Braves a 1-0 lead, and David Justice over at first base. Breaking ball hit in the air to left center field. And coming over is Gonzalez, the left fielder. Lemke tags up. He'll score. And the Braves lead it 2-0. For Gant, his 104th run batted in. Pendleton remains at second and Justice at first.
A broken bat on the breaking pitch, but you see Gant fairly close to the plate, is able to reach for it, still get enough to drive it to the outfield. And that is the strength of Ronnie Gant. Even though that breaking pitch can be down and away, he can get the barrel on it.
Braves leading at 2-0. That was just the first out here in the first inning, and that will bring up Sid Bream. Bream is hitting .253. When you look at the moves that John Scherholtz, who is destined to be the executive of the year in the National League, made. Free agent acquisitions. Pendleton at third was big. And so was Bream, who has really solidified that infield. Good defense.
Even when he was injured, rookie Brian Hunter, they've good combination there.
2 balls and no strikes. Portugal apparently struggling after being in the bullpen for 5 games, now coming back to start. It's got to be a big adjustment.
And pumped for this start, and the effect of this crowd is taking its toll in the first inning.
2-0 pitch and a slow hit roller. Everybody is going to be safe, and the bases are loaded. Sid Bream just beat the throw by Caminetti, and the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Well, you have a lot of talent. You play consistently well over 60 games up to this point. You also need a little break every now and then. And Sid Bream does not anticipate getting a leg hit with the bad knee. But Caminetti has to respect his power. Plays him a little deep at third base. And because of that, no way he can retire Bream on that little infield roller.
Bream safe on the swinging bunt. Bases are loaded and 1 out. 2 runs are already in. The infield is halfway on the left side, a little farther back at second base for Greg Olson. Olson's been an Iron Man, has caught virtually every inning this final month for the Braves. First pitch is in for a strike, and while it's affected his hitting lately, he's delivered some timely hits for Atlanta.
That's the thing about this Braves ball club, that there is a different hero, and that's kind of cliche-ish in sports, but this team is an example of that. He's been one of them.
1 ball and 1 strike to Olson.
About a week ago, it was rookie Brian Hunter in an extra inning game. Seen Lemke get some key hits, and Olson, despite the batting average down there, has driven in some key runs in the last week.
Goes after a bad pitch and fouls it. 1 ball and 2 strike. Olson was taken out of the game the other night, Tuesday, when the Braves made their great comeback and won 7-6. Damon Berryhill is one of the new acquisitions acquired with Mike Bilecki from the Chicago Cubs. Came in and gave him a rest, and he said that Olson told me, he says, after making the last out in the 7th inning on a line shot to Sabo, it felt very uncomfortable being on the bench in the 8th inning. Caminiti goes over to second for 1. The throw to first, double play, and Portugal gets out of it, and very fortunate, having given up only 2 runs. There was 1 error and 2 left.
You're watching CBS Sports coverage of Major League Baseball.
2-0, the Braves lead, and you'll be kept apprised of the Giants and Dodgers no score after 1 at Candlestick, and Jeff Bagwell has to quickly get away to that pitch, hit right at his head.
Stands close, comes out of that crouch and dives into the ball. Smoltz trying to run the fastball in on him. You see Olson's target, and that one came out a little early. Kind of goes back to trying to hold that ball relaxed in your hand and not squeeze it too tightly.
Bagwell is hitting .293. He takes ball 2-2-0. His 82 runs batted in are a club rookie record for the Astros. Heavy favorite to be the National League's Rookie of the Year. Goes after a fastball up in the strike zone, pops it up to the right side of the infield. Sid Bream makes the catch, and there's 1 away in the 2nd inning.
Any question about the life on John Smoltz's fastball? The first 4 hitters, all balls in the air. That gives you an idea. It's got a little hop on it. Guys are getting just under it.
Here's Luis Gonzalez. Gonzalez 0 for 7 against John Smoltz. There are several players in the Astro lineup who have never gotten a hit off of Smoltz. Gonzalez is one of them as he takes ball 1. Here's one of the youngsters that you'll see in the Astros lineup in the future. Good power to all fields.
They have a number of hitters that fit that same mold, and the Braves had a chance to open this game up in the 1st inning, which would really take a lot of the Astros game away from them. With Lofton and Finley at the top, if they get on base, they are a team that's a threat to steal some bases.
There's a line drive up the middle, base hit. Gonzalez is aboard, and that's the first base hit for the Astros. So Luis Gonzalez has now hit safely in 11 of his last 12 games.
Seems like Houston has always had those type of hitters. You go back to Jose Cruz and Terry Poole when they were there. Guys not with exceptional power, fair amount of home runs, but the ability to make contact and hit the ball to all fields. They're putting that same type of lineup together again.
With 1 out, the Astros have a base runner, Ken Caminiti, a switch hitter, hitting .254, but only .216 as a left-handed batter. Ball 1 inside to him. The Astros have lost 96 games this year. They have never lost more than 97 in their 29-year history. Even when they came into the league back in 1962, they didn't lose 97 games. So this is a year they'd like to forget, but they've got something to build on.
Show you how things turn around. That's the number the Braves lost last year.
2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, even though the Braves got 2 runs on the scoreboard in the first inning, that was a rather big inning. They could have really blown this game open in the first inning. So not quite as comfortable for Smoltz as it could have been.
Caminiti has had some success against John Smoltz, 3 for 7 with a run batted in. John is 3 for 3 and 4 lifetime against the Astros. Fastball fouled back. 2 balls and 1 strike. Been a party atmosphere here in Atlanta. The Tomahawk has caught on in a big way as the Braves try to win their first division title since 1982. Pitch is fouled back. Rafael Ramirez, who is a reserve infielder with the Astros, remembers those days. He says, great enthusiasm, but I think the Tomahawk aspect has really pumped up the crowd and the fans here in Atlanta.
Kind of interesting where that has come from. Of course, the Braves fans watching and listening are well aware of it, but a lot of fans around the country may not be aware of where that Tomahawk chop came from.
Runner at first. The 2-2 pitch is a curveball, misses inside. Smoltz wanted that pitch.
You know, early in the year when Deion Sanders was playing on a more regular basis, some of his buddies came down from Florida State, and that's the cheer and the chant up or down in Tallahassee, rather, and that's where that came from.
3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Gonzalez, the runner at first base. He has 10 stolen bases, and he is off. And the pitch is grounded to Lemke. He has no play at second. He'll go to first to get Caminiti. And there are 2 out as Gonzalez moves into scoring position. And right now for an update, let's check in with Pat O'Brien in New York. Pat?
All right, Dick, thank you. Top of the first, up at the stick. Dodgers-Giants with 1 out. Mike Sharperson hits a shot to third. Matt Williams with a nice move at third. Gets the second out. Scoreless in the second inning. We'll be here all day with updates. Back to you, Dick.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. If the Dodgers were to lose today and the Braves win, it's all over. In the West, here's Andujar Cedeno. Swing and a miss. He took a big cut for a .239 hitter, but he's been up 3 times and has 2 hits against Smoltz this season.
Wants to make up for the tough time he's had out in the field. He sees a chance to get this game tied with 1 swing.
Cedeno has committed 4 errors so far in the first 2 games of this series. Fouls it back, so Smoltz jumps ahead of Cedeno, 0-2.
We had a chance to check in on the Dodger-Giant game, but while that was happening, a very good decision out there by Mark Lemke on that first out of the inning. Under these kind of conditions, would have been very tempting to try to throw that ball to second base. He held up, took the sure out.
That's the kind of smart baseball that the Braves have been playing in the second half of this year. Breaking ball, and it's chopped in front of the plate. Olsen has a tough play, guns it to first, safe. A very difficult play for Greg Olsen, and Cedeno with good speed beats it out for an infield hit, and Gonzalez moves over to third with 2 out.
A few clumps in the infield. The field has improved from last year. Good breaking pitch, but watch the ball hop. Take a little bit of a side hop from Olsen. He springs out from behind the plate as well as any catcher. But because that ball, and there's been some football played in Atlanta County Stadium, that's the reason you see the ball bounce like that. And it threw him off just enough with Cedeno's speed to keep him from getting him out.
2 down and runners at first and third. Casey Candaele, the batter, and it's a slow ground ball to Belliard. Makes a fine play for the force to retire the side. Belliard had to handle a high hop at the last minute. 2 hits and 2 left. It's still 2-0 Braves.
Way to go, kids.
I said, let's go.
Hey, what you doing anyway?
Just thinking what it takes to make it to the majors.
Yeah, I already know.
What?
Hard work, luck.
And these tickets to get in. Let's go.
Yes.
A message from Major League Baseball and its players.
2-0 as we move to the bottom of the second inning. No score into the second inning at Candlestick Park in the two critical games in the final weekend of this season. Rafael Belliard, the batter for the Braves, swings and misses for strike one. Against the Atlanta Braves, Belliard is hitting .323 this season with 10 hits and 31 times up. He's done well against Houston pitching, leading off here, followed by Smoltz in the top of the order against Mark Portugal, and a line drive base hit to right field. Going the opposite way, Belliard is aboard, and that's hit number 5 for the Braves. So Smoltz will be coming up to sacrifice here.
Not a lot of power, but look where the hands are cocked, right there close to the body. He has one thing in mind: to slap the ball on that low and away pitch. See, a power hitter would take a much better swing at that, but Belliard just with a little short, almost a karate chop type swing, very appropriate in this ballpark, and gets a single to right field.
But you have to use a bat, not a tomahawk. Here's Smoltz, who is batting .111, 7 for 63 on the season. And swings away at the first pitch. They were coming in at the corners, and Smoltz tried to cross him up by taking a cut.
Well, the Braves have some pitchers that are also good athletes, like Steve Avery last night. So Smoltz has 7 sacrifice bunts with Caminetti way in at third and Bagwell at first. Casey Stengel used to call that the butcher boy. Turn about halfway around and try to slap it at him.
He's not convinced Caminetti was playing well in on the grass at third base. Bagwell is holding Belliard on at first. Here they come, and there's the bunt. It's in the air, and it is caught. On a high chopper, and the sacrifice 1-4 will move Belliard into scoring position. He got it down on the dirt.
Yeah, and the high chopper was the key because of the hard dirt here in the infield. You see what a high bounce that took, and that's why Portugal had no chance to go to second base and get Belliard. See, the field has been redone, but it's almost like AstroTurf with clumps in it because of the football game here. And you're going to see some weird bounces.
We saw some shots last night that looked like this game was played on AstroTurf.
It's a fast track.
Here's Lonnie Smith, who singled and scored one of the 2 runs. Takes a big swing and a miss is strike one. So the Braves have another runner in scoring position, up 2-0 here in the bottom of the second inning. Breaking ball misses outside. Candaele, before the pitch, is trying to keep Belliard as close as he can to second base before moving over more into the hole between first and second. There's Casey. Up high. 2 balls and 1 strike.
One thing the Astros outfielders do, more so than any other big league outfield I've seen, they play very, very shallow, despite maybe a hitter in the batter's box with some power. They'll give them a chance to throw the runner out at home.
Gets a fastball and lifts it in the air to left field. Gonzalez started to come in, and now it's over his head and over the fence for a ground rule double. But scoring will be Belliard for the 3rd Braves run here of the game. Gonzalez first came in and then went back, and it was over his head for a run-scoring double by Lonnie Smith.
A combination, mentioned the shallow position, plus it's a little difficult at this time of the day with the high sky. I think that's why Gonzalez took 1 step in, and by the time he did that, neither Lofton, who has great speed, nor Gonzalez could catch up with that one.
For Lonnie Smith, his 19th double of the year, and a lot of people questioned whether Smith replacing Otis Nixon would really affect the Braves in a negative way, and it's been the other way around. He has been a steadying, experienced influence.
Yeah, they have a lot of compassion, the Braves do, for what's happened to Otis Nixon, what he's gone through. But on the playing field, Lonnie Smith has filled in very, very nicely.
Here's Mark Lemke. Takes strike 1. He singled to right and scored a run in the first inning. So as they did last night when the Braves jumped in front early on the Astros, they're leading 3-0 here in the bottom of the second inning. 1 ball and 1 strike to Lemke, with Terry Pendleton waiting on deck. Dwayne Henry, who was up in the first inning, is throwing again for the Astros. Fly ball to center field. Lofton is going back, tagging up is Lonnie Smith. The throw coming in is cut off, and Lonnie Smith goes to third as Lemke's retired for the second out in the inning. Two down to Terry Pendleton, who'll get a big hand driving in the first Atlanta run in the first inning.
See how that ball carried to center field, and any ball airborne today, this is known as the launching pad anyway. And you get one airborne, it will go. Wind blowing straight out.
Lonnie Smith, who doubled home a run, is at third base with 2 away. They play Pendleton the pull. First pitch is outside, ball 1. What kind of a year has this free agent pickup from the Cardinals had, huh?
He's taken advantage of the more favorable hitting conditions here in Atlanta than he had in St. Louis.
Fastball in for the strike, 1-1.
It makes him so tough. You see he's rather close to the plate up in the batter's box, and yet the pitch inside, he is quick enough that he can turn on that pitch.
2 balls and a strike to Pendleton, who obviously is putting his batting title hopes second behind the Braves team situation, and of course normally that results in the fact that he'll end up hitting much better.
Exactly.
3 balls and a strike. On deck is David Justice.
Portugal's decision here with his 3-1 pitch be that Justice is a little more of a free swinger than Pendleton.
And it's ball 4, and also the right-handed batter. So runners now at first and third as Pendleton is on base for the second time, and a chance for David Justice. That is the first walk issued by Portugal. So here is Justice, who is safe on an error by Cedeno. Top of the third inning at Candlestick. The Dodgers and the Giants still no score. Braves could have really broken things open in a bigger way in the first inning before an inning-ending double play erased a big threat. Justice swings and misses on a slow curve, strike 1.
She didn't give Pendleton anything to swing at 3-1 because of that. Justice, a young player, talented player, but very eager to succeed in this situation. A little more anxious with the bat.
Ground ball right at the first baseman Bagwell. He makes the play to retire the side, but the Braves add to their lead. And after 2 complete at Fulton County Stadium, it's the Braves 3 and the Astros nothing.
Choose sides and get ready for the battles of October.
We're back here in Atlanta, and Mark Portugal swinging at the first pitch flies to right fielder Dave Justice for out number 1 here in the third inning. The Braves are leading 3-0. Out at Candlestick Park, still no score as the Dodgers bat in the third inning. Morgan's just been retired on a line drive back to Trevor Wilson. No score as Roger Craig said, well, you know, it'd be great for Atlanta and baseball if the Braves were to win this thing. You know, Jim, I don't understand why there's been so much vocal anti-support, I should say, for the Dodgers, and support for the Braves we can understand as Kenny Lofton takes ball 1.
You know, it's no different than when the Yankees were the Yankees in the early 60s. People have a tendency to pull against a team that's been very, very successful, and the Dodgers have been the most successful organization in baseball.
Fastball in on the corner for a strike, 1-1. So a little jealousy and envy, huh?
I think so. We see that in all sports. Everyone likes to see the one that's successful knocked off, and the Braves are such a great story. It's a combination of those two things.
Curveball in for strike 2, 1-2. But I don't remember in any pennant race since I've been following baseball where so many people have made a point to say we hope the Braves beat the Dodgers.
I think that's because we've talked about the first time in modern day history of a team going from last to first.
Lofton strikes out on another sharp breaking pitch by Smoltz, and there are 2 down here in the third inning. Well, tomorrow on the NFL Today, they're playing musical quarterbacks around the league. You'll learn those who have been left out this week and why. Detroit, the Lions are 4-1, but is their roar for real? Well, John Madden and Terry Bradshaw will analyze the newest trends in the NFL, and you'll get the latest on the Dodgers and Braves in this Western Division race. And those are the games. Redskins at the Bears, the big one tomorrow. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern. Here's Steve Finley, and Finley takes ball one. He fly to center his first time up. A short fly to Ronnie Gant. Two balls and no strikes. The sun not quite as strong as it was when the game started, and it looked like many of the fielders had problems with it.
Yeah, this is a perfect sky for the players in the field right now. Just a little bit overcast. You can pick up the flight of the ball much easier.
Fastball chopped to the right side and through for a base hit. Steve Finley is aboard. Hit number 3 for the Astros. They've all been singles.
Hitting in the second spot today, but really Steve Finley can become for Houston what Brett Butler has become for the Dodgers. A left-handed leadoff hitter that makes contact, has a little bit of power, and can steal bases.
Speaking about stealing bases, Craig Biggio, the Astros catcher, has 19 stolen bases. Throw to first base, and Finley gets back. And Biggio has been a catcher, of course, and now they seem to be more serious about trying to move him to second base next season.
I like his approach. He said, I've proven what I can do back there. My throwing out runners percentage is better. He likes to play behind the plate.
Breaking ball is bounced to Belliard on the run. Guns it over to first for the inning-ending out. And we'll return to Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium after this word from your local station.
He never misses the target.
Name's Zach Hollister.
No matter what he aims for.
You're not trying to take advantage of me, are you?
Brian Bloom, Brotherhood of the Gun, tonight.
Wednesday.
Play ball!
It's Red Fox on a hot streak.
Can't touch this.
But he's about to lose his cool.
I'll pitch if I want to. In fact, I'm going out for varsity baseball.
It's big league trouble for the home team.
You're pig-headed.
I'm Alfonso Roy. I'm king of this house. I'm the head pig.
An all-new Royal Family on Red Hot Wednesday.
This is CBS.
This is WLKY-TV, your 24-hour news source.
I'm Steve Bergen in the news. A state record $11 million is up for grabs in tonight's Blano, Kentucky. Arson is suspected in an overnight vacant house fire in West Louisville. City police are investigating whether a man jumped or fell from the 2nd Street Bridge during the past hour. DuPont celebrates its 50th anniversary at the Rivertown plant, and it's homecoming for the University of Louisville this afternoon. More news and weather coming up on Channel 32, your 24-hour news source.
October 2nd, 1991, the President of the United States visits Louisville, Kentucky. Once again, your 24-hour news source delivers with complete team coverage. On the scene for the President's arrival, live from Standiford Field, live from the Crime Stoppers Convention, live from a Republican political rally, the admirers and the demonstrators. You wanted more. Channel 32 News is giving you more. When the big story breaks, count on Channel 32 News, your 24-hour news source. Sports Sunday with Fred Calgill and Rick Van Hoos tomorrow.
Braves 3, the Astros nothing. No score between the Giants and Dodgers, with the Giants batting in the 3rd.
And here's how the Braves are about to clinch the first place in the West if they can do it. Allowed less runs, scored more, a difference of 252 runs from last year.
That's in a nutshell right there. Ron Gant takes strike 1. Gant said he expected more breaking stuff from Portugal today. He has seen him in relief when Portugal has been throwing mostly fastballs, so he's looking for the breaking ball more from Mark. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Gets the curve. 1 ball and 1 strike. Big honor for Ron Gant this season.
30 stolen bases, 30 home runs. Last year's comeback player of the year in the National League.
Pitches inside on a straight change, 2-1, and of course only the 3rd player in history to have back-to-back 30-30 seasons. Mark Portugal making his 27th start of the season, and a fastball line to left field. Gant is aboard. He knocked in a run with a sacrifice fly in the 1st inning, and the Braves now have their 7th hit of the game. And right now for an update, let's check in on what's going on with the Giants and Dodgers from Pat O'Brien. Pat?
All right, Dick, third inning, Darryl Strawberry up with Sharperson at first. Hits it deep. Not deep enough. The Dodgers have left 3 on so far in the game. Scoreless, Dick.
So it's still 0-0 after 3 innings at Candlestick Park. And right here, the Braves with the leadoff man aboard. And the batter is Sid Bream. He was retired, actually beat out an infield hit on a swinging bunt that Caminiti very nearly nailed him in the first inning. So Gant expected breaking stuff. He got the fastball and took advantage of it. He's a threat to run. He's got 34 stolen bases as the pitch is taken for ball 1. Braves leading 3-0. Jimmy Williams, the third base coach.
See what Bream can do in this situation as an experienced hitter, and being a left-hand hitter makes it a little more difficult for Biggio to throw the ball. He'll take a pitch or two to give Gant a chance to steal second base if he wants to.
Bagwell holding the runner on, a good hole on the right side of the infield. That pitch is low. 2-0 now to Sid Bream.
That'll change right now with the 2-0 count. Bream represents some power from the left side, so he'll draw that little imaginary rectangle about thigh high inside part of the plate, and if it's there, he'll rip it. Got the hole open between first and second.
Dwayne Henry is again throwing for the Astros for the 3rd straight inning, and the count now goes to 3-0. Sid Bream twice has been on the disabled list this year. Really hasn't gotten back his stroke since coming off it for the 2nd time, but he's a threat as he has the green light on 3-0 and fouls off the fastball.
That fastball is the key word. It's the best pitch in baseball because you can get by with more mistakes. You can move it around the strike zone, but if you miss with your breaking pitches like Portugal did to Gant and now to Bream and fall behind, then it becomes a very, very hittable pitch.
Three balls and 1 strike. Portugal gives a long look over to second. Let's see if the Braves have a play on. And he bluffs Gant back to the bag. Braves are looking for their 8th straight victory of the year. It would mark their longest winning streak of this season. And there goes Gant. The pitch is taken for ball 4 inside. And the Braves, who scored 2 in the first and 1 in the second now, with runners at first and second, nobody out, to catcher Greg Olson.
See, Atlanta the best team in the second half, and they've shown you today why, with simple execution, sacrifice bunt by Smoltz, timely hitting, and the pitching they've received from John Smoltz. Now they're in a situation again to take advantage of that at the bottom of the lineup. Olson can hit the ball the other way, or he can bunt.
The Tomahawks are out, and Greg Olson, who bounced in to an inning-ending double play with the bases loaded, with an opportunity here. Henry has been warming up now and would be ready if the Astros need him. Runners at first and second. Low and away, ball 1.
Astros not really sure about whether to put on what they call the rotation play, where Caminiti would charge toward home. Cedeno started to break for third and then held up.
Belliard is on deck. Now diving back to second was Ron Gant.
Somebody's missing some signs out there. There's about 3 or 4 options you use. That obviously Portugal thought was a pickoff. Cedeno didn't.
Two balls and no strikes. Giants retired in the 3rd inning. No score. Morgan and Wilson are the pitchers out at Candlestick Park. Giants trying to act as spoilers today and knock the Dodgers out of the race. A win by the Braves, though, would clinch at least a tie for the National League West title. Season officially ends tomorrow afternoon. If there's a 1-game playoff, it would be Monday night. A line drive, 1 hopper, and Cedeno can't handle it again, and Gant will come in and score. And the Astros have a big hole at shortstop. Cedeno now with 5 errors in 11 innings of this series.
Well, you feel for Cedeno. There's a saying among players who are not particularly good in the field, no matter where they play you, the ball will find you. And that's what's happening to Cedeno. As soon as he makes that first error last night, he can't get away from it. And this time he got a very, very difficult hop. That's an example of this field that is almost like AstroTurf. Watch him back up. Trying to play the true hop instead of hopping up, it shot right through. So they have not all been easy chances.
Last night he tried to be a little fancy, but Cedeno commits the error. That'll be all for Mark Portugal as Henry comes in and will return to Fulton County Stadium after this.
When is a game not a game? Now, watch the Battles of October on CBS.
Dwayne Henry making his 52nd appearance of the season, a career high for him. He has 2 saves in 66 innings. His earned run average is 3.24 with a 3-2 record coming in for Mark Portugal here in the 3rd inning.
He's pitching for the Braves last year as a relief pitcher and started his career with the Texas Rangers.
So it is a 4-0 game in favor of the Braves. No RBI for Greg Olson. He's on at first base. And Rafael Belliard, who singled his first time up to the opposite field, takes ball 1.
And again, that shallow position. No indication to bunt with the pitcher coming up next, so Finley will take a very shallow position. Bream does not have good speed, and that'll give him a shot at throwing him out on a base hit.
Astros have more activity in their bullpen. Fastball in for a strike, 1-1.
Brian Harvey, probably the best all-around reliever in baseball right now from the California Angels. And Lee Smith with a record-setting save mark in the National League, 47.
And getting a lot of support for a possible Cy Young Award in the National League. You look it up, he's had an incredibly consistent record in that department. Belliard fouls off the fastball, and the count 1-2 to the Braves shortstop. Sid Bream is on at second base and Greg Olson at first. The Braves have scored in every inning of the first 3. 2 errors by shortstop Andujar Cedeno have not helped the Astro cause as Mark Portugal driven from the mound here after not retiring anybody here in the 3rd inning. Still 1-2 to Belliard.
This one, it's fun to watch hitters operate. Even with a ball and 2 strikes, you'll see Belliard, no matter where Henry throws the pitch, he's going to try to do something to fist the ball or hit the ball to the right side and move up those runners. That's how the Braves have compiled that best record in the second half.
Dwayne Henry in relief of Mark Portugal. The 1-2 pitch is up high. You know, the Braves have made a great tale of all their come-from-behind victories. We saw one last week in Houston, and of course the victory in Cincinnati this week. But last night and again today is kind of like the way the Braves have played it this year.
That's their book game behind that good starting pitching through the first 5 or 6 innings gives you a chance to win games like last night and today.
Ball hit out to right field. Charging is Finley. On the run, he makes it. And that will be the first out here in the 3rd inning. Runners remain. Bream at second and Olson at first, and 1 away. Tuesday night, the League Championship Series begins at 8:30 Eastern Time. The Toronto Blue Jays, who hung in there. Everyone talked about how they might falter as they've had in recent years, but they answered the call in a big way against the Minnesota Twins, who went from last to first in the American League. And here's the schedule of games, if necessary. Game 5 at Toronto. First 2 will be played at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Smoltz trying to bunt his way on. Caught the throw to first in time for the double play as Olson didn't get back to first in time. So another double play, second by the Astros, but the Braves add another run to their 4-0 lead.
You're watching CBS Sports coverage of Major League Baseball. This game summary is sponsored by Budweiser.
Terry Pendleton got it started in the first inning. It's 4-0 the score. Andujar Cedeno, 5 errors so far in the first 2 games of this series, and John Smoltz looking to win his 14th game of the season. No score, still zeros at Candlestick Park. Playing the bottom of the 4th inning. Right here it's 4-0 in favor of the Braves, and Jeff Bagwell, the cleanup hitter for Houston, takes ball 1 from John Smoltz. He popped up to Sid Bream his first time up. Bagwell still looking for his first hit against Smoltz. 0 for 8.
See an unusual approach by Bagwell. A lot of hand movement, the bat kind of jiggling up and down, hits out of a crouch in a very aggressive swinger, but he'll look bad on that breaking pitch and then turn around and hit it.
Gets a fastball and hits it in the air to short left field. Going on his belly yard, it's going to drop for a base hit. Might have ticked his glove, and Bagwell is aboard. That'll be the 4th hit of the game for the Astros. They've all been singles, but the first time they've had the leadoff man aboard in the game.
I don't even know if Otis Nixon with his speed would have made a difference here. You have Smith and Gant playing rather deep out of respect for Bagwell's power, and that's a broken bat blooper that Belliard just could not quite get a line on. He had the best chance at it. Smith and Gant had much more territory to cover.
4-0 as the Astros try to mount something against John Smoltz, who has allowed 4 hits. Has struck out 1 batter, hasn't walked anyone. And here's Luis Gonzalez, who singled to center field his first time up. 1-0 the count to Gonzalez. Two balls and no strikes. On deck is Ken Caminetti. So even though Smoltz has a 4-0 lead, he doesn't want to see Caminetti come up with a couple of men aboard here.
It's a game if you're Bobby Cox. You're scratching your head. So yeah, we're up 4-0 with a good pitcher out there, but we really could have about 7 or 8 runs.
Fly ball hit deep to right center field, and David Justice in right center makes the catch for the out. Hustling back to first base is Bagwell, and there's 1 away here in the 4th inning. Gonzalez really gave that a good ride, and there's 1 away.
He could take the ball the other way, and with 13 home runs, also the ability to pull it. But Smoltz with an above-average fastball gets that in on the hands.
That'll bring up Caminetti, who bounced out his first time up. He has 30 doubles to lead the Astros. He's been up 100 times more as a left-handed batter than as a righty this year. Fastball is popped up and fouled out of play, strike 1. John Smoltz, the lone right-hander, in a very impressive 4-man rotation by the Astros. Steve Avery won number 18 last night. Tom Glavine already has his 20th victory. Breaking ball is grounded foul past Ed Ott down the right field line. Will Clark has just tripled in the 4th inning for the Giants with 1 out. He hit the big home run to put the Giants ahead to stay last night. So San Francisco continues to pound on Dodger pitching. Here's the 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. Got a fastball up in his eyes, and that's the 2nd strikeout for John Smoltz.
And that's what it's been like the second half of the season. That explosive fastball in a good spot where Caminetti cannot catch up with it. He's one of those pitchers as a hitter. You say lay off the high pitch. It's easy to say and tough to do because it has that little hop on it.
2 down, and here's Andujar Cedeno. If there's ever a player who had many possibilities to redeem himself, 5 errors so far in this field, Cedeno might be in that position. He's hit 8 home runs, so he's got some pop.
Seems kind of funny to say, doesn't it? What they like in San Francisco, they like in Atlanta. A hanging breaking ball by Matt Williams, and it drops in front of Cal Daniels, and Clark scores the first run of the ball game.
To Cedeno. Fastball misses outside, 2-1. The sun out full now, and David Justice with the glasses.
On and off with the cloudy skies moving over.
4-0, the Braves lead. We're in the Astros 4th inning. Andujar Cedeno takes a big swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Atlanta Braves have played like champions down the stretch. Having won 7 in a row and 6 big road games, they put a lot of pressure on the Dodgers, who had the lead most of the second half of this year. Trying to hold off a very hot second half of the Braves. There's a drive hit down the left field line. Maybe trouble for Lonnie Smith, and it's off the wall. Smith lets the ball get away. Bagwell coming around will score for the Astros, and holding at second with a double is Cedeno. So he does redeem himself to an extent. His second hit of the ball game, and now it is 4-1 in favor of the Braves. The 13th double of the year for Andujar Cedeno.
Got a hanging curveball from John Smoltz. Right down in that joy spot about thigh high. Now that may have looked like a low pitch, but to a pitcher, a curveball that hangs about thigh high is a high curve, and Cedeno takes advantage of it. That ball took a very hard carom off the left field wall. That's why it took Lonnie Smith a little extra time retrieving it. By the time he did it right there, that allowed Bagwell to score.
Switch hitting Casey Candaele hit into a force play his first time up. Looks at a fastball from Smoltz for a strike. 4-1 the score now. The Astros have 5 hits. Other than the first inning, the Astros have mounted a threat in every inning against John Smoltz. Breaking ball and a base hit slash to right field. Rounding third is Cedeno. The ball is bobbled by Justice. Cedeno will score, and now it's 4-2 game. And if I'm Bobby Cox, I'd have some concerns about the way this game is going now. RBI for Candaele, his 50th of the season.
A strike away from getting out of the inning, and 2 quick hits, and another example of the outfield at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Justice charging it properly. Knew he had a shot at throwing the runner out at home. Ball just stayed down and went underneath his glove.
And we're going to have a pinch hitter for Dwayne Henry. Gerald Young is going to bat.
I mentioned the concern of Bobby Cox, and that is what goes through a manager's mind and the players, because the Braves know right now they could have this game well in hand. Base running mistake last inning where Olson got doubled off.
And then Olson hitting into an inning-ending double play with the bases loaded in the first inning.
Could very easily have an 8-run lead going into this inning.
Gerald Young, a switch hitter. He is 3 for 22 as a pinch hitter this season. He's been a lot more effective as a right-handed batter, hitting under 200 from the left side. Candaele, the runner at first base with 2 outs, 2 runs in, 4-2 the score, and a high chopper. Pendleton's going to have to hurry the throw in time to retire the side. But 2 runs on 3 hits, and after 3.5 here at Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium, Braves 4, Astros 2. They have just ended the 4th inning in San Francisco. The Giants score, and the crowd hearing the score, cheering 1-0 in favor of the Giants. Matt Williams driving in Will Clark. So the Giants lead. The Braves also lead, although the Astros appear that they're going to be in a big fight in this game. And the new pitcher will be Chris Gardner. Gardner, the 3rd pitcher of the game for the Astros, making his 5th start. He's a rookie. 5th appearance, all in relief. And it's ball 1 to Lonnie Smith. Smith is 2 for 2 with a single and a double, a run scored and a run batted in. He's off to a hot start, grounds this right to Caminetti at 3rd. And Lonnie Smith is retired for the first time today. 1 gone in the Braves' 4th inning.
And as much as the Astros and Art Howe have been criticized during this pennant race for pitching young, untested pitchers, if you're Lonnie Smith and Mark Lemke right now, this makes it tougher, because all of a sudden you're taking a look at the 3rd pitcher from the Astros, a pitcher you have not seen before. It might take you an at bat or 2 to adjust. By that time, he's out of the game.
Mark Lemke 1 for 2 with a single. Play him around to the right in the infield, takes strike 1. He singled to right in the 1st inning and scored a run. Up high, 1 ball and 1 strike. Chris Gardner, native of Long Beach, California. 32, 22 years old, was 5-10 last year at Asheville. One of the promising pitchers on this club. Ball and 2 strikes to Lemke.
You can see Lemke take that pitch almost with a little indecision, not really knowing what to look for.
Live ball to center field. Lofton did not move for a while, then had to hustle back to make the catch for the second out. Let's right now check in with Pat O'Brien in New York. Pat?
All right, Dick, they're going wild at Candlestick. Here's how the Giants scored. Will Clark tripled. Then Matt Williams drives him in. It is 1-0 at the top of the 5th. I haven't heard this many beat LA chants since we did the NBA, Dick. Back to you.
That's right, Pat. They weren't in San Francisco, but they were points east, like Boston and Detroit. 2 down, and Terry Pendleton, the hitter. He's 1 for 1 with a single and a run batted in. Walked his last time up. Swings at the first pitch, and a big hop to Cedeno, who handles this one. And the first 1-2-3 inning of the game for the Astros. We've completed 4-2 in favor of the Braves.
This is Bob Schieffer at CBS News headquarters in New York. We want to update you on a major news development. Soviet President Gorbachev has announced a sweeping nuclear arms reduction. He says he'll match President Bush's plan to eliminate tactical nuclear weapons both on land and sea, and he'll follow the U.S. lead and take his bombers off alert. That's the gist of it. Details on tonight's CBS Evening News.
Back here at Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium, Kenny Lofton trying to bunt his way on, and does. He's safe at first base, and the crowd does not agree with that call by first base umpire Randy Marsh. But you got a glimpse of the terrific speed that Lofton possesses.
Boy, great speed and a good play by Smoltz. Olsen can't get it. A little too fast to track here on the infield, so the only chance Smoltz had is that off-balance throw. But it's the great speed of Lofton that earns this base hit. Just beat it. We get 2 or 3 looks at it. Randy Marsh doesn't, but even at that look, it appeared that Lofton had tied the throw.
Steve Finley swings at the first pitch and lifts a fly ball to left field to Lonnie Smith. He makes the catch for the first out. How often have you seen a batter come up and swing at the first pitch just when it looks like a team is mounting a rally, as the Astros are doing here?
In fact, Finley did it in a game last week against the Braves. And I know oftentimes people say, oh, why'd he swing at the first pitch? But if you're Steve Finley, John Smoltz is a fastball pitcher, you're saying that might be the best pitch I get to hit. And that's why oftentimes they do chase that first pitch.
1 out. Lofton is on at first base, and Craig Biggio, the batter, in a 4-2 game. He represents the tying run at the plate. Smoltz bluffs Lofton back. The Braves have bullpen activity. They too can sense the fact that John Smoltz has not been sharp. Kent Merker is the left-hander. He's on the left, and Mike Malecki, who's already seen action since coming over from the Chicago Cubs in a deal. Lofton got back there.
Something weird about, now they're going to switch. I was going to say something weird about that bullpen scene. They had the lefty on the right and the righty on the left. They're going to lock arms. Now they've switched back to the right way.
Now they've got Merker closer to the stands. Another throw over to first base.
So now that it's a 4-2 ball game, the Astros' speed becomes a factor. If the Braves had increased that lead early, it would discourage Houston from running.
And they won't be hesitant to run. They've got good speed on the base paths. Another close play at first. The crowd doing the umpiring for Randy Marsh.
Well, as a pitcher, oftentimes when you throw over to first base time and time again, as you see Lofton just dive back in, you give a runner a chance to read your move. But in this case, if Smoltz is persistent, Lofton continues to sneak off there and lead towards second, he can get him.
One out. Biggio tough to double up with good speed. Bagwell is on deck. Runner doesn't go, and running up to bunt and taking a called strike. 0-1 the count to Craig Biggio, who's 0 for 2 thus far this afternoon.
Well, he dropped his head in disgust. He took a nice fastball and tried to move up in the box to distract Olsen a little bit, thinking Lofton would steal. Lofton never broke.
Go to first, and they've got him this time. Right you are, Mr. Kaat.
You see, just that extra lean towards second is all John Smoltz needed. And you catch Lofton with all the body weight going towards second. A perfect throw and a nice tag by Breen. Persistence pays off. Got him.
And the inexperience of youth. So the Astros miss an opportunity to this point as Biggio takes ball strike 2, 0-2. But the top minor league player in many circles, Kenny Lofton, will be around. Fly ball hit to short right field. Justice is coming on in, signals that he'll take it, and he does for the out. There was a hit, nobody left. We've completed 4.5. The Braves 4, the Astros 2.
When is a game not a game? Now, watch the battles of October on CBS.
We're in Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium. Dick Stockton and Jim Kaat. The Braves are winning. The Dodgers are losing. And if the Braves win and the Dodgers lose, the Atlanta Braves will become the National League West champions. An Atlanta win alone would clinch no worse than a tie or a Dodger loss. As the Braves bat here in the 5th inning, David Justice takes strike 1 from Chris Gardner, the 3rd Houston pitcher of the day. Justice is 0 for 2, reached base once on an error by Andujar Cedeno, the shortstop. Drive hit to left field. Gonzalez is going back, but has a play on the warning track and makes it for out number 1. The Braves had a 4-0 lead at one time, scoring 2 in the first, a run in the second, and another run in the 3rd inning. RBI singles by Pendleton. An RBI double by Lonnie Smith, a sacrifice fly run batted in by Ron Gant, his 104th of the year. But the Braves had their lead halved in the 4th inning when the Astros scored 2 runs, and they've had bullpen activity up with John Smoltz not at his best thus far, but he has the lead. And Gardner now facing Ron Gant, who hits a drive deep to left field, and it's way back. It's upstairs, home run, Ron Gant. Number 32 for Ron Gant, and his 2nd RBI of the game, and this was a shot.
Tried to sneak the fastball by him upstairs. Not many have been successful. Neither was Gardner.
It is now 5-2 in favor of the Braves. Sid Breen takes ball 1, and the crowd still buzzing. Two balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch. 3-0 now to Breen, who has been on base twice with a single and a walk. Braves have scored a run in every inning but the 4th when they were retired in order. Grounded foul. 3-1.
Yeah, and that's a run that dugout knows was a major run, because when you take an early lead, the other team begins to sneak back. Just a little run here and there in the middle of the ball game becomes major.
High fly ball to right field. Finley is going back on the warning track, but he's there, and he makes the catch for the 2nd out. So Justice and Breen.
This is Pat O'Brien in New York City. We'll get you back to this game in a moment, but we want to send you all up to get a taste of San Francisco and Los Angeles. They are chanting "Beat LA," and indeed it is 1-0 Giants. Here's Jack Buck and Tim McCarver.
We are in the 6th inning here at Candlestick Park, and we welcome those of you who have just joined us on our CBS telecast. The Giants lead 1-0, and Trevor Wilson is mowing them down. He has retired 8 in a row. A triple by Will Clark in the fourth and an RBI single by Matt Williams. The only run of this game on a light hitting affair, as you see. The Dodger error didn't hurt him. And a strike to Sharperson. He is grounded out and he is walked. Gary Carter has the only hit for the Dodgers. Up the middle, and Uribe gets to it. And that's 9 in a row. 2 out in the 6th. Trevor Wilson has only 1 complete game this year, but the way he is motoring along here, he's got a leg up on it, doesn't he?
He had 22 2/3 innings, or 21 2/3 consecutive innings against the Dodgers without allowing an earned run. Only 2 outs made in the air by the Dodgers today.
Wilson to Strawberry, 0 for 2. Ball 1. There are 2 out here, and you know what Strawberry is thinking. And look at that, 0 for 11 against Wilson. Foul ball.
Only run in this game after a 1-out triple by Will Clark. A single by Matt Williams, driving in his 97th run of the year. That has been the only scoring so far.
Strawberry didn't get that one, and he's in the hole 1 and 2. With 2 out. Nobody on base. Just missed with a breaking ball. For the audience which just joined us here, we have a big crowd at Candlestick Park because of this rivalry and the salute to Dave Dravecky, which took place before the game. 9 in a row set down by the Giant left-hander. And a 1-0 Giant lead in the 6th. Ball carrying deep, but is going to be caught by Felder, and that's 10 in a row. Set down by Trevor Wilson. We're into the bottom of the 6th, and the Giants are hurting the Dodgers 1-0.
And they're in the 6th inning in Atlanta. We'll take you back there where the score is 5-2 after a word from your local station. Stay with us.
I'm Steve Bergen. Divers search for a body in the Ohio. More news and weather coming up.
We want to welcome those viewers who had taken a peek into the Giant-Dodger game and those fans who have been with the game at Candlestick Park. Here at Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium, the Braves are leading 5-2 in the top of the 6th inning. If they win this game, they clinch the tie for the National League West title. If the Giants hold their lead against the Dodgers, the Braves will be champions and they'll be dancing in the streets here in Atlanta. Gonzalez rounds sharply to Bream, who makes the play unassisted, and they're 2 gone here in the 6th.
After that home run, nothing more critical to a ball club than to get a pitcher like Smoltz to go back out on the mound and quiet the Astros down immediately.
Ron Gant hitting a solo home run in the 5th inning to make it 5-2 after the Astros had cut a 4-0 Atlanta lead in half with 2 runs in the 4th inning. Here's Ken Caminetti, 0 for 2, struck out his last time up. Takes low ball 1.
Talked about the little change that John Smoltz has made. Watch the turn. Watch the hip pocket face the hitter. Just a little more of a turn. Leg straight toward the target. That's what's enabled him to get a little more pop on the fastball. Been much more successful the second half.
Mentioned 11-2 since the All-Star break, winning as pitcher in the major leagues. Last year was similar. He got off to a slow start and then turned it on in the second half of the year.
He has been a constant, really, from last year to this year compared to the other Braves pitchers. Avery has made a tremendous improvement. Of course, Glavin's control has improved. He's won 20 games, and Charlie Liebrandt has been the same pitcher with a better team in the field.
Ground ball hit to the left side. Belliard guns it over to first base for a 1-2-3 inning. Boy, that Belliard is so reliable at shortstop. You can count it, put it in the bag every time.
So what brings you to the ballpark?
Dave Stewart. Come on, Stu!
Zazzy Zit.
Now that's a thrill. Yeah!
The real thrill, Will Clark.
I'm here for the religion.
Thou shalt not steal.
Feel the thrill again. Join us at the ballpark. A message from Major League Baseball and its players.
One of the reasons the Braves could be formidable against the Pirates is the fact that they have those 4 outstanding pitchers, and we're seeing one today in Smoltz, but a dramatic turnaround of the 4 starters.
That's been one of the highlights of this Braves team. That enables you to win good starting pitching, and that's what Smoltz, Glavine, Avery, and Lebrand have done from last year to this year. You see the number of...
That's
Pat O'Brien in New York will get you back to this game in a moment. Let's take you to the other playoff game going on now.
29 more starts.
Well, we welcome those of you who have just joined us here at Candlestick Park, where the Giants are leading 1-0, bottom of the 6th. A base hit by Willie McGee, an intentional walk to Will Clark. And Mike Morgan will be pitching to Matt Williams, who has the only run batted in of this game. There's a big crowd here, and the pitcher and catcher talk it over. And they simply want the Giants to knock the Dodgers out of it. At second base, McGee. He singled, stole second. They just walked Clark, who has scored the only run of this game. And with the only run batted in of the contest, it's Matt Williams. 2 on, 1 out. Tommy Lasorda sweating this one out. He can't break through against Trevor Wilson. He's trailing 1-0 in the 6th, and they're 2 on, 1 out for the Giants. Time called by the batter. Williams popped out his first time. And singled home a run in the 4th inning. The games are growing short for Lasorda. That ball is going to drop in, and the bases. Oh, here comes the runner, McGee. And he is safe. Safe.
Williams jammed on the pitch. The ball just eluding Lenny Harris. Willie McGee, in the bottom of your picture, thought Harris was going to catch the ball. He has to hold up. By the time he starts up again, Clark's breathing down his neck, and third base coach Bill Fahey has to send McGee. What a brilliant play by Carter, but McGee steps on home plate and then runs into Carter. A proper call, I thought, by Jim Quick. Had Carter had the throw been up the line and Carter could have blocked the plate, then he gets Willie McGee, but because the throw was to the first base side, then by the time he got back to home plate, McGee had already touched it. Good call by Quick.
You would think for all the world that the Giants were in the pennant race the way this crowd is reacting. They're going to walk Kevin Bass, the switch hitter, and load him up again. So Matt Williams has driven in both Giant runs, and San Francisco leads here in the 6th inning 2-0, and they'll enjoy that score when they post it in Atlanta. The bases are going to be loaded for Robbie Thompson.
Clark, the trail runner, takes the chance. McGee has to hold up. Now look where Will Clark is right there, and now Bill Fahey has to send McGee. He has to send him. And he steps on home, and Carter obviously is behind the plate. And by the time he makes the tag, McGee is scored. Good call by Quick. That is a tough call for a home plate umpire to make, but proper.
There aren't many runners who would have got there as quickly as McGee did. He can scoot when he is under a full head of steam, and now the bases are loaded with only 1 out for Robbie Thompson. Remember, this fella has 19 home runs. Ball 1, and Morgan is in a jam, and so are the Dodgers. Tom Lasorda walked Will Clark, but it didn't work. Morgan working off the stretch. Tim Cruz is warming up for the Dodgers. We have one of their best out there in Mike Morgan. Base hit loaded, 1 out. Squeeze play, foul ball. You think that the Giants aren't trying to win this one? Base hit loaded, 1 out, and a squeeze play. The reason he was prompted to do it was because of Thompson, who's such a good bunter.
Yeah, but I don't think this is a good play. One swing of the bat, and you could blow this game wide open. With the bases loaded, I don't think a squeeze play is a good play. If Clark were the only guy on base, I think it'd be a good play. But Roger Craig loves the squeeze play, and had Thompson put that ball in play, and certainly they score a run. But a base hit scores 2.
Thompson hits it high in the air to left. Daniels will catch it. The runner tags. Daniels does not have a good arm. Safe. The ball's kicked. The ball's kicked away, and 2-run score on the play. It's 4-0.
Lasorda coming out of the Dodgers dugout. They're going to appeal the play at third base. They think Clark left too early.
If he did, that'll really change this inning.
Well, you talk about courage to make a call. Think of the pressure now on Gary Darling. We talked about Jim Quick's call at home. What about the pressure on third base umpire Gary Darling right now? Cal Daniels was shallow when he made the catch. Will Clark took a chance. And when you take a chance like that, you always take a chance of leaving too early. Morgan will go into the stretch, step off, and then throw to third.
So he said Clark did not leave too soon, and the Giants have made 4 runs on 4 hits.
Here's the throw by Daniels. Gary Carter with the slap tag, and Will Clark kicks it out of his glove. I think Carter actually felt he still had the ball. He got up complaining, but Clark kicked it, and that allowed Williams a chance to score 4-0 Giants. Wow.
Man wearing up with a runner at third, 2 out.
There's Clark taking a chance. He doesn't want to slide, and he kicks the ball out of the glove of Gary Carter.
Wow. Now the ground ball ends the 6th inning, but the Giants have a 3-run 6th. And after 6 full innings, they lead the Dodgers, and they're really hurting them now. It's 4-0.
And down in Atlanta, it is 5-2 in the 7th, and we'll go back down to Fulton County Stadium after this. Stay with us.
Choose sides and get ready for the battles of October.
I want to welcome everyone to Atlanta, where the Braves are leading the Astros 5-2. And John Smoltz, finding himself, has struggled in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th innings, but he has retired 7 in a row, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to pinch hitter Javier Ortiz, batting here in the 7th inning with 2 outs. Ground ball hit to Belliard at shortstop. He'll make the play to retire the side. Here in Atlanta, they know that the Braves are winning and that the Dodgers are losing. We've completed 6½.
Oh. Al, the Redskins pounded the Eagles.
The Bears only dropped 1 game.
Al, Redskins are undefeated.
Bears will pound them back to D.C.
Redskins, Redskins, Redskins!
Hey.
Let's take a look around the American League at some of the best performances. Cecil Fielder, the league leader in RBIs. And Julio Franco, the apparent batting champion. Nice comeback by Willie Randolph. And in home runs, still a battle between Fielder and Canseco. Great year by Cal Ripken in all offensive categories.
Mark Lemke leading off in the 7th inning, lifts a pop-up to Bagwell in foul territory, who makes the catch. And 1 pitch, 1 out in the 7th. Rob Malakote is the new pitcher for the Houston Astros. There's the stories. 4-0 in favor of the Giants. 5-2 Both in the middle of the 7th inning in a pivotal game. There is Malakote, who is making his 24th appearance, has 1 save this year. Here is Terry Pendleton, turned around, batting right-handed for the first time, takes inside ball 1. Pendleton is 1 for 2 with a single and a run batted in, looking to win the National League batting title. Here's a player who has not only given the Braves terrific offense, former Gold Glove winner at third, solidifying their infield, and a great leader in the clubhouse. And the crowd is chanting MVP, and you'd have to put him in the hopper for consideration, wouldn't you?
Big home run in last night's game, and what he's done in all phases, in the field and at the plate.
Career high 22 home runs with that drive last night. Takes a strike. 3 balls and a strike. Currently, Pendleton is hitting .319. That's 1 point higher than he started the game. And he draws a walk for the second time. Dick Stockton and Jim Kaat here at Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium. And this capacity crowd of over 45,000 keeping one eye on the scoreboard. With the Giants lead the Dodgers 4-0. The Braves lead here 5-2. Here are the standings now. But if the Braves hold their lead and the Dodgers go on and lose to the Giants, the Atlanta Braves will win the National League West race and will move into the National League Championship Series in Pittsburgh against the Pirates on Wednesday night. David Justice 0 for 3 on the day. Takes ball 1 from Malakote.
This is those, you could almost see David Justice licking his lips. This is those situations as a hitter. 3-run lead, man on. He'd love to get a fastball right here and just put the capper on this game.
Hops this ball in foul territory. Caminetti got a late start. He's all right. And Frank Pulley checks with him over there as the ball goes out of play.
Yeah, any doubt as to whether there's going to be a full-out effort on the part of the Astros? Just take a look at this. One of the more hard-nosed players in this game, Caminetti, trying to vault into the camera well down there and catch that foul pop.
I don't know if you believe in destiny again as we see Caminetti's hustle. You know, it's not anywhere in the box score or in the statistics, but somehow it always plays a role in every team's success. And you look at, you know, the home run by Justice to cap a 6-0 deficit against the Reds this week.
Those unusual, unexpected things always seem to happen to the league leaders.
Fly ball hit to right center field. Lofton is back there, and he makes the catch in front of the warning track. And tagging up and going to second alertly is Terry Pendleton. It's 5-2, and there are 2 out, but that hustle is an example of the leadership that he's brought to this club.
Yeah, a lot of times a runner on a long fly ball will go halfway, anticipating it being in the gap. Pendleton knew that that ball was going to be caught. So he said, let me hustle back and get another run into scoring position. A good alert play.
Here is Ron Gant, who's had a big day today. 2 for 2 with a home run, a single, 2 runs batted in. He hit his 32nd home run in the 5th inning. Takes a call strike. Whether it's daytime or nighttime, righties or lefties, artificial turf or natural grass, one of the more consistent power hitters in the game.
Those are usually your MVP candidates.
Ground ball hit sharply to Cedeno. He handles this one nicely. The throw to first is in time to retire the side. The Braves lead 1, but we've completed 7, and Atlanta inches closer to a title. They lead 5-2.
Pat O'Brien in New York to show you a wild play at the 6th in the 6th inning. Robbie Thompson hits one to Cal Daniels. Will Clark's on third. Daniels catches. He throws. Clark goes home. He tags and kicks the ball out of Gary Carter's glove. He scores. Matt Williams comes in. It's 4-0 Giants. Back to Dick Stockton.
right, Pat, thank you very much. Boy, they have come prepared with signs, tomahawks, caps, you name it. The fans here have it. Over 2 million fans have flocked to Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium this year. They're surpassing their all-time mark of 2,119,000 set back in 1983. Jim Clancy and Mike Stanton, who were up last inning, are up again in the Atlanta bullpen as Kenny Lofton takes ball 1.
And the players have come prepared to play as always. You see Pendleton in on the grass, anticipating a bunt.
2 balls and no strikes. Lonnie Smith with a single and a double. Gant with his 32nd homer. And the big story, and the only thing that really matters, the Braves can clinch with a win and a Dodger loss in San Francisco. Fastball in tight as Lofton was standing close to the plate. Takes a strike, 2-1. Lofton is 1 for 3. Beat out a bunt single his last time up and then was picked off by John Smoltz. That hurt the Astros. They were behind at the time by a score of 4-2, and that was a leadoff base runner for the second time in the game for them. 3 balls and a strike. Taking all the way for strike 2.
It's been the impressive thing to Bobby Cox about the way this team during this entire streak has come so prepared to play in all phases. They've not gotten too high or too low or been intimidated by this pressure.
Bounding ball to second base. Lemke makes the play, and there's 1 out. Tomorrow on the NFL Today, they're playing musical quarterbacks around the league, and you'll learn who's been left out this week and why. In Detroit, how about those Lions? 4-1, but is their roar for real? John Madden and Terry Bradshaw will take a look at the newest trends in the NFL, and that'll all come your way at 12:30 Eastern Time tomorrow on the NFL Today, the last word before kickoff. Steve Finley, the batter, with 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning, and as this game goes on, despite the fact that the Braves have had bullpen activity the last couple of innings, Smoltz seems to have gotten stronger.
And he wants to stay out there. You know that.
Running up to bunt.
We mentioned before the game in our little visit with John Smoltz about the game that everyone dreams of playing in as an athlete. He'd like to be on the mound when this thing ends.
Well, everyone remembers the picture or the videotape of the pitcher on the mound. Right. If it's not a home run that wins a pennant or a division title or a World Series, you want to be there. Finley lifts a foul fly down the left field line. A lot of room there, but
yeah, one of the rare cases are the Thompson, Gibson, Mazeroski, and Fisk, which you were a part of. Now, that's where the home run hitters. But most of the time, it's that guy out in the middle of the mound, and that's what Smoltz wants to do today.
It's the catcher jumping on the pitcher. I remember this didn't win the championship, but Yogi Berra jumping into the arms of Don Larson after the perfect game in the '56 World Series. One out, the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Steve Finley. John Smoltz has retired 9 in a row. Now maybe 10, a pop-up. Pendleton in on the grass, makes the catch for out number 2. At the conclusion of today's game, Jim, Kaat, and I, mostly Jim, will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game, and Chevrolet will donate $1,000 in the player's behalf to the Special Olympics. 2 down to Craig Biggio, 0 for 3 today. He came into the game as a .400 hitter against Braves pitching, but he hasn't been able to solve John Smoltz. Fly ball to right field. Justice is in position to make the catch. And the 3rd straight 1-2-3 inning for John Smoltz. 3 outs to go for the Atlanta Braves to at least clinch a tie. You know, it's tough when you talk about clinching ceremonies, because if you look at the game, we've completed the top of the 8th, and now the Dodgers have been retired in the top of the 8th inning of their game. And of course, to clinch the pennant or the division, the Dodgers would have to lose really before the Braves win for the fans to realize they've won it all. You've been through clinching before.
They'll wait a little while, but after all the piling on is done, what is really fun as an athlete is when you get in a clubhouse and you look at these guys that you've been battling with for 6 months together, and you kind of exchange that wonderful, warm feeling. I don't think there's anything in sports that replaces that as an athlete. You can have all the individual honors you want. Nothing beats getting that ring and that title.
And the police are ready on horseback. The guards are there just to keep the fans in place, let them celebrate in the stands all they want. In the bottom of the 8th inning. John Smoltz and the Braves are 3 outs away from clinching a tie for the National League West title. Bream, who's been aboard twice with an infield hit and a walk, retired once, takes ball 1 from Rob Malacope, the 4th pitcher of the day for the Astros. He fouls it off. The attendance today is 44,994, but you know, years from now, about 200,000 will say they were here, right? Breaking ball is fouled. Caminetti gives chase, and a lot of room here at the stadium, makes the catch, and Bream's retired for the first out.
And every player in that dugout, including that one, Juan Berenguer, who is not active because of that stress fracture in his forearm, every player in that dugout will have a story to tell about this season and where he contributed and what it meant to him.
Here was a team that was 9.5 games behind the Dodgers at the All-Star break. People had conceded the division to the Dodgers, and then the best second half in all of baseball, they may cap it this afternoon. Here's Greg Olson, 0 for 3, swings and misses, strike 1. The Pirates are interested in the result of this. They'll play the winner Wednesday night on CBS in Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. You know, the Pirates lost only 2 season series this year. They lost to the Dodgers 7 games to 5, but the Braves took 9 out of 12 from the Pirates, and that will give a lot of food for thought going into that series.
There's some reasoning behind that. Look at the starting pitchers: Glavine, Avery, Liebrandt. The Pirates have some left-hand hitters.
Here's Deion Sanders, who last week played for the Falcons and could not play for the Braves. They've been using him as a pinch runner, but this weekend with the Falcons off and the NFL bye to the Western Division, able to be here for this event as Olson strikes out for out number 2.
It's like you get a lot more chance to smile in a baseball uniform than in those pads and helmets. Man, that's battle in those football pads.
Well, before the National League Championship Series gets underway, Jimmy and I will be at the Metrodome Tuesday night for Game 1 between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Minnesota Twins, and that shapes up as pretty even battle.
Jack Morris against Tom Candiati in the first one.
There's Belliard, who is 1 for 3 with a hit. Takes ball 1. Braves scored 2 in the first inning. Pendleton's RBI single and a sacrifice fly by Ron Gant. Lonnie Smith doubled home a run in the second. Another run came across in the third on an error, and then Ron Gant hit his 32nd home run in the 5th to account for the 5 Atlanta runs. Giants lead 4-0. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning as Belliard fouls it off 1 and 2.
Don't know that I've ever seen a crowd get involved in a baseball atmosphere like this. You think of this at other sports, but you really don't think of the crowd being such a factor at a baseball game, but you certainly do here.
Two balls and 2 strikes with 2 down. On deck, if Belliard keeps it alive, is John Smoltz. It'll be one of the rare times he'll get a hand for himself if he gets to bat. Belliard strikes out, 2 straight strikeouts, another 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 9th inning with the Braves needing 3 outs. They're playing the top of the ninth. The Dodgers' last chance against the Giants, trailing 4-0. And the Astros up here in the ninth inning. The crowd well aware of what's going on in San Francisco. Jeff Bagwell facing John Smoltz. First pitch is a fastball inside. Jim Kaat is making his way down to the Atlanta Braves dressing room for the impending celebration. Bagwell lines one over Belliard into left field for a base hit, his second of the game. Smoltz had retired 11 straight hitters before Bagwell's single. That's the 8th hit of the game by the Astros. In the Braves bullpen, Alejandro Pena, who was a perfect 11 for 11 in save opportunities, warming up along with left-hander Mike Stanton. With the Braves, that is. We want to welcome everybody to Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium. Jeff Bagwell is led off with a single here in the ninth inning. The Braves lead 5-2. If they go on and win here in the ninth and hold the Astros and the Dodgers go out in order against the Giants, the Braves will win the National League West in an incredible, improbable story after being behind by 9.5 games at the All-Star break. Luis Gonzalez is the hitter. He's 1 for 3 with a single. Brett Butler is the leadoff batter for the Dodgers, with Mike Sharperson and Darryl Strawberry to follow in San Francisco against Trevor Wilson. And there's a bounding ball, and the force at second base, and a fine play by Belliard. He's been a magician out there for Atlanta. Bagwell is retired, and on at first is Gonzalez, 1 out in the ninth. Moments ago, the Braves general manager John Sherholz hugging his wife. He came over from Kansas City, and he's made the moves that have put the Braves in this position. And a great pickup, we should say, by Stan Kasten, who has done a terrific job as the Braves president. Here's Ken Caminetti, who's 0 for 3. Swing and a miss, strike one. 1 out. We're in the ninth. The pitch to Caminetti, and a line drive down the right field line, foul. Fielded by Pena. Brett Butler struck out for the Dodgers, and there's 1 out in the top of the ninth inning in San Francisco. And Mike Sharperson is the hitter against Trevor Wilson, who I believe has retired 18 in a row. John Smoltz trying to nail it down and win his 6th consecutive game and nail down a division title as well. No balls and 2 strikes to Caminetti, with Gonzalez the runner at first. And a ball bounced through the middle. Belliard hustling. His throw to first is in time for out number 2. One out to go. Braves looking for their first division title since 1982. Andujar Cedeno with 2 out, and Gonzalez the runner at second. 1 out in San Francisco. Mike Sharperson doubled for the Dodgers with 1 out. Sharperson, who doubled, is on at second of the Dodger game. The disappointed look on the face of Brett Butler. 4-0 there. Right here, it's 5-2, and the pitch by Smoltz misses. 1 ball and 1 strike to Andujar Cedeno. 2 down in the ninth inning. The Astros have a runner at second, trailing 5-2. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Cedeno. Swing and a miss, strike 2. The Braves may win before the Dodgers lose. But for all intents and purposes, the Braves are going to wrap up the division title. Here's Darryl Strawberry with a runner at second. 4-0 still. Trevor Wilson for the Giants. And here's a fly ball hit to right field. This may do it. Justice is back. It's over. The Braves win it. Francisco, Darryl Strawberry has struck out. There are 2 outs. So the Braves are technically 1 out away from capturing the division title. They've already clinched a tie. High drama in the National League West race going down to the next to last day of the season. And John Smoltz. Right now, let's send you out to San Francisco and Jack Buck. Jack?
Trevor Wilson, the pitcher. 4-0 Giants. 2 out in the 9th. Strike 1 to Murray, who lost the bet. That's 0-2, and now you Atlanta Brave fans are only 1 strike away from being the champions of the West and playing in Pittsburgh Wednesday night. 4-0 Giants. Runner at second, 2 out. 2 strikes to Eddie Murray. All of the fans on their feet here. As we said before, you'd think the Giants are in the pennant race. They just want to beat the Dodgers, and they're about to. Ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Trevor Wilson trying to pitch his 2nd complete game of the year, and he really put a hurt on the Dodgers today. The Atlanta Braves are watching from the dugout. Watching what's going on at Candlestick Park with a runner at second, 2 out. 1-2 to Murray. Out of play, and the count stays 1-2. This is typical of the postseason excitement we're going to have coming your way beginning Tuesday night in Minneapolis. That's Bob Ojeda watching it. He had a fine season with the Dodgers, but the Dodgers made the trip up here and lost last night and are trailing and in bad shape here in the 9th inning. They're down to their last strike. They're watching in Atlanta. The Braves beat Houston today. Another foul ball prolongs the torment here in the 9th inning. Perranoski of the Dodgers. Dodgers had a wonderful season, Tim. But there's Gary Carter. Is he going to play some more in the big leagues? Eddie Murray trying to keep this thing going. 2 out in the 9th. The Braves beat Houston 5-2, and the Atlanta players and fans are glued to this scene. Robbie Thompson gets to it in Atlanta. Let the celebration begin. Congratulations, Braves. Congratulations to the Atlanta Braves. A 2-hit shutout by Trevor Wilson. Here's the scene in Atlanta, Georgia. Bobby Cox, the manager of the Braves. He has won the West and into the winning clubhouse. First time since 1982. Great fan support down in Atlanta this year. And this ball club rewards them with a victory, a win over Houston today, 5-2, and a wonderful combination as far as they're concerned, with the Giants winning here 4-0. Andrea Joyce, one of our CBS commentators, is with us, talking with Tom Lasorda.
Tommy, such a tough, close race the last 6 weeks. What ultimately made the difference?
Well, make the difference is we just didn't come up here and able to produce any runs. we lost a tough game against San Diego the other day, which really made a big difference in our ball club. We were hoping that we could come in here with a one-game lead, and unfortunately we had to come in here tied. We weren't able to win anything, so I'm proud of our players. It wasn't because of lack of effort. Everybody did the best they could at all times.
This is the greatest race since 1904. What was the sense coming in here this weekend, and how tough was it to come to Candlestick?
Well, it's always tough in here. They're a good ball club, but I want to congratulate the Atlanta Baseball Club. Bobby Cox, John Sherholtz, Ted Turner, Stan Kasten. They did a tremendous job, and they deserve it. They played great baseball.
Great representatives, would you say?
I think they will be. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much, Tommy. Let's go back upstairs to Jack.
And our thanks to Andrea Joyce and the always gracious Tom Lasorda, who sends his congratulations to the Braves, as do we, Tim McCarver.
Classy move, Jack. And if you remember at the beginning of the show and the beginning of the game today, Tommy was talking about that game in Los Angeles on Wednesday night when the Padres scored 6 in the 8th. He said if he lives to be 110, he'll never forget it. And he brings it back up at the end of this game.
We have a lot of post-game activities coming away as the West is decided on our post-game show. Stay tuned. Giants won it here 4-0.
If you're stranded in the wilderness, try to stay calm.
2 to 3 days? Where are we going to sleep? What if an animal visits?
Make a plan for survival.
If they don't find us here and we starve to death, I want you to know you can eat my body.
And be prepared for anything.
What if something unforeseen should happen?
Like what? Ooh.
Northern Exposure Monday.
Welcome, baseball fans, back to our studios in New York here. What a day for baseball in the National League West. Of course, you know the story by now. The Giants beat the Dodgers 4-0 up in Candlestick Park, and about the same time, the Braves beat Houston 5-2, and down in somewhere in Fulton County Stadium is Jim Kaat. James?
Yes, sir. All right, we're in the Atlanta clubhouse. John Smoltz, we talked before the game. You dream about being in that position. You kind of smelled it at the end. You wanted to end that game on the mound.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I can't say enough about my teammates and Bobby Cox for giving me all the confidence in the world after the first half and just sticking with me. And I was determined and to win the big game. Mike Heath told me that he feels I'm going to win the biggest game, and this is the biggest game of my life so far.
Look on and back at spring training and also in the season. When did you begin to sense that this club's going to win this thing?
Well, as soon as John Sherholtz got some players over here that were competitive and have been in a world championship, I mean, it does a tremendous amount for your pitching staff when you've got guys behind you that can field and not only hit and bring you experience. And, you know, this team is relentless. I mean, it doesn't matter if we get injuries, people are picking each other up.
You know, I said before today's game, being a former pitcher, your first thoughts in the first inning, you have a tendency to squeeze that ball. You want to tone yourself down, and you were getting it up there pretty good even late in the game.
You know, it's weird because in the first inning, I was the most relaxed I've ever been, and when I got in the third and fourth inning, that's when I started feeling a little pressure, and I made some bad pitches to let him get back into it, but I was determined after that not to give him any more.
Let's take a look at the reaction to the last pitch. It's all about to be over.
Well, you know, I've watched so many people do this in the past, and I just dreamed myself being in that situation, and I never really dreamed it would happen so quick, and I just can't say anything. I'm just so happy with this team.
It's kind of almost a numb feeling right now. There's a real high and then a numbness. Now you got to get your mind down to Pittsburgh.
Exactly. Right now I'm enjoying the moment, and, you know, we still got another game to play, and then we got more business to take care of. But, you know, today was probably the greatest I've ever felt as a baseball player. Let's
go back again to your turnaround halfway through the year. You mentioned part of it was psychological, part of it was mechanical. Looked like it was all working today.
Yeah, it was. You know, I didn't have my greatest stuff, but everything put together helped me control everything and tone and throw strikes when I had to throw it. And, you know, everything was working today, as you say, and Ole just kept me intact the whole game.
He's been a great addition to this team also behind the plate. You don't have to hit as a catcher. It's nice to have a guy back there that could call the right game.
I tell you, he's an amazing story. You know, you look back on how hard he's worked, and he's caught every game. I think it's like 40 in a row, and, you know, he deserves a lot of credit.
All right, that's John Smoltz, winning pitcher in today's game. We'll be back, visit with more of the Atlanta Braves right after this.
Hey, Jim. How you doing? When is a game not a game? Now, watch the Battles of October on CBS.
Tomorrow on the NFL Today, the new game is called the Quarterback Shuffle. We'll tell you who's standing, who's sitting, and why. Detroit has jumped to a 4-1 start. Are they for real, or are they paper lions? And John Madden and Terry Bradshaw will analyze the latest trends tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern on the NFL Today. The last word before kickoff.
I'll be over here if you need it. All right, Mark. Back again in the happy atmosphere inside the Atlanta clubhouse. The Atlanta Braves, the West Division champions of the National League. Does that have a nice ring to it, Bobby Cox?
Feels awfully good right now, Jim. And a lot of people were saying before that we were a destined team to win it, but I don't think so. You can't beat great talent and working together and putting together a run like we did at the very end. It was a dynamite ball club, dynamite finish.
And great talent is right over here in David Justice and Ronnie Gant, a couple of guys. Ronnie 30-30 this year and a candidate for most valuable player. What's this mean to you and your feelings right now?
Well, this is really great. I mean, I had a pretty good year last year, and, you know, we weren't winning. But this year it's totally different. We have a winning ball club, and I feel like I contributed. You know, this guy did a job for us. When he was out, you know, we rolled, and he came back strong. And I tell you what, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be at the point we're at right now.
You know, this game got a little bit sticky about the middle of it, and then you sort of put an end to it with right here. Looked like maybe a nice high fastball.
Well, that's a pitch I like to hit is a fastball, and everyone knows if you throw me a little wrinkle, I might have a little bit of trouble with it. So I was ready for it, and it felt great. I felt like, you know, that was a big run for us, and it took a little bit of the air out of their balloons.
Your partner here, David Justice, even if it's a little bit of a wrinkle, you seem to be able to handle it. And it seems like winning teams have got their arms around one another. Kind of a nice feeling in this ball club.
That's right. We all get along so well together, and it's just a great moment for all of us. You know, in spring training, no one picked us to have such a good team, but we knew in that clubhouse that we had a good team. And it was just a matter of how well we matured and gelled together. And I tell you what, we've done a great job this year. It's been a lot of hard work, but this feels great for us.
Feels great coming off Rookie of the Year in last year. And share the moment and the feelings of what you're looking at right now on the field when you finally found out the Dodgers had lost and you see the reaction from the fans and the players.
I think a lot of it was just relief. But I tell you what I want to say is that we've had the greatest fans this year. I mean, they've supported us the whole way. They've come up with the tomahawk chop, as you see some of the guys doing there. And it's been so much fun to share this success and everything with our fans. They've been out there day in and day out, and it just feels so good to be able to share it with the people of Atlanta.
You know, I've seen a lot of ball clubs and a lot of fans get behind a team. I don't know that I've ever seen a crowd mean as much to a ball club as the tomahawk chop and the fans here have in Atlanta. You share that, Ronnie?
Yeah, I mean, you know, coming into this year, we were picked to be in last. I mean, no one expected us to be at the point we're at right now. But the fans believed us. They came out to watch. They knew we had a good team. And as the year progressed, more fans filled up the seats, and they came up with the tomahawk chop and everything. And I tell you what, if it wasn't for them, we might not be at the point we're at right now. So also,
you know, standing out there in right field, when you lose 95 ball games, you hear a few comments from fans. And I imagine they're a little bit different this year.
That's right. It's been 100% positive the whole year. And I tell you what, we just like playing in front of these big crowds. Last year was tough for us to get up and play when, you know, we had 3,000 people out there. But once again, I want to say it's been great for the city of Atlanta, for our fans. It's been a long time coming, and we're just happy to be able to share this moment with them.
And now on to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Ronnie Gant, David Justice, manager Bobby Cox, the Atlanta Braves, West Division champions. Let's go to Pat O'Brien.
We shook up the world.
Hi, Kitty. Thank you very much. And all the words being tossed around about that ball club. I was in their clubhouse a couple of weeks ago, and let me add another word, confidence. And you know that as well by looking to see that they already had their T-shirts and their hats made that say champions. We'll go back up to Candlestick Park after this. Stay with us.
Terry Bradshaw and the NFL Today.
No huddle offense. Let me just put it like this. Number one, it's a great day, Greg. It's a great day. I'm all fired up.
There's no one else like him.
Well, we've told you the story down in Atlanta. Let's send you back up to where the Dodgers left their hearts today, up at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. And let's go up to our men up there, Jack Buck and Tim McCarver. Fellas.
Thank you, Pat. Well, the last meaningful game of the year has been played here at Candlestick Park, resulting in this line score. A two-hit shutout by Trevor Wilson. He was terrific today. He walked only two. The final putout off the bat of Eddie Murray, fielded by Robbie Thompson, and out at first. And a 4-0 giant victory on the heels of the 5-2 Atlanta win over Houston. And you can see these faces on the Dodger bench. Lenny Harris, A long, hard try for the Dodgers. They played extremely well, but came up short. Brett Butler, Strawberry, Ojeda. And Strawberry and Harris walked off saying, well, we did all we could, but that's the way it is. Tim, it's been an enjoyable season thus far working with you, but baseball from now on gets even better. And, brother, are we going to see some left-handed pitching? Huh?
Well, I'll say 6. As a matter of fact, there's a chance of having 6 of the 8 starters when Pittsburgh plays against Atlanta on Wednesday night, even though Doug Drabeck will be starting for the Pirates against Tommy Glavine in all probability. There is a chance there could be another right-handed starter. Bob Walk could be inserted. Jim Leland's only named 3. Zane Smith and John Smiley, both left-handers. We're going to see a lot of left-handers. And just a note on this weekend, Jack, the words start with C, both of them, celebrating to consoling. And really, over the last 24 hours, that's really what's happened in the Dodger clubhouse. There's another word that starts with C that Pat O'Brien mentioned, and that's confidence. I don't think the Dodgers were confident coming into Candlestick Park this weekend.
You're right about 2 things. They didn't think they could win here. They didn't think they'd get any help from Houston. The biggest man on the playing field today was the giant left-hander, Trevor Wilson, who visited with Andrea Joyce after the game.
Trevor, congratulations. One of the best pitching jobs of the season.
Well, it came at a right time. The Dodgers put a lot of left-handers in their lineup, and fortunately I'm left-handed. I've had success with them this year, and things went right for us. And
can you put into words your thoughts on being able to help knock the Dodgers out of this pennant race?
Well, we didn't want to see them celebrate on our field, and I thought if the Braves could come out today and win, then I'm going to do my best and see if we could end it today, and that's what happened.
You know, Tim, there will be some grumbling. There already has been that the Dodgers didn't get the help from Cincinnati or from Houston. But I don't think there was any stopping Atlanta. Heck, they have won 8 games in a row, and they're going to roll into that Pirate series at Pittsburgh on Wednesday night. A very confident, tough ball club with good personnel. And they beat the Pirates 9 out of 12 during the year.
Yeah, they're 9-3 against the Pirates, and I think the matchup, the Atlanta Braves matchup very, very well against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay, Pat O'Brien back in New York.
All right, Jack Buck, Tim McCarver, thank you very much, and I'll be tagging along with those guys next Wednesday night out in Pittsburgh for the National League Championship Series. And don't forget that on Tuesday night, it is Game 1 of the American League Championship Series with Toronto and Minnesota. The tale of 2 cities, many cities, 4 to be exact, continues. A lot of stuff going on in sports today, and we'll have all that when we come back. Stay with us.
Palm Springs is the place to be in the Witness Protection Program, especially if you're a cop pretending to be married to a beautiful con.
Wrong.
P.S. I Love You, tonight.
Pat O'Brien back in our studios in New York, and let us remind you that we will be here, CBS will be here, and I'll be here, we'll all be here throughout the playoffs and through the World Series, so we hope that you stay with us, and we can only hope that we have great baseball like we have seen the last couple of days. And let's catch you up to date on what has been happening in baseball today. Of course, you know this story by now. Atlanta beat Houston 5-2. The Braves win the National League West. The Giants beat the Dodgers 4-0, and so that is settled. The Braves will meet Pittsburgh next Wednesday. Also in the National League today, Terry Mulholland shut out the Mets 1-0. They're playing 2 at Wrigley. What a great day that must be in Chicago. In the first game, Chicago beat the Cardinals 3-2, and they are now in Game 2 of this doubleheader, 3rd inning, and they're scoreless. Over in the American League, Paul Molitor had 3 hits. He now leads the American League with 214. Look at this score, 13-4 as Milwaukee beat the Red Sox. The Yankees lead Cleveland 4-3 in the 8th, but it is raining cats and dogs here in New York City, and that game is in a rain delay. And Baltimore, second to the last game at Memorial Stadium, beat the Tigers 7-3, and we'll be back from New York City right after this. Stay with us.
The people of CBS News. Dan Rather,
Connie Chung,
Mike Wallace,
Ed Bradley,
Leslie Stahl,
and Charles Garald. Experience
CBS News.
Let's quickly fire up the college football scoreboard today and get you up to date on what's been going on around the country in football. Number 1 versus number 10 in the third quarter now. Florida State leads Syracuse 23-14, a close game there. Oklahoma State, Miami. Miami had no problem, 40-3 there. Oklahoma and Iowa State, the Sooners coming out on top 29-8. Oklahoma's 15th straight win in Ames, by the way. Michigan and Iowa, number 7 versus number 9, 26-18 in the third quarter there. Michigan actually trailed 18-7 in the second quarter. Baylor and Houston, they are in the first quarter, 7-0 there. Wisconsin and the Buckeyes on top 31-16 in today's final there. Southern Mississippi and Auburn, 10-9, that's also a final. Maryland, Pittsburgh, Pitt's up by 4, and that's a final too. Number 17, the Panthers win that one. California and UCLA, it is knotted at 14 now in the third quarter. Georgia Tech and North Carolina State coming out on top there, 28-21. Alabama rolled over Tennessee Chattanooga 53-7 in that final. Illinois beat Minnesota 24-3, and Texas Tech lost to the Aggies of Texas A&M 37-14. And speaking of Minnesota, let's go to Minneapolis, where Jim Gray is standing by with Tom Kelly of the Minnesota Twins. Let's go up to Jimmy. Jimmy?
All right, Pat, good afternoon. Tom, you guys have 2 more games that you play against Toronto before the series starts on Tuesday. What are you trying to accomplish in these 2 games?
Nobody get hurt. We don't want anybody to get hurt, and keep people healthy and just get prepared. Give the guys a couple days to get their mindset and what they want to do and let them relax a little bit. But again, within that, we want to beat the Blue Jays. We don't want them to come in here and walk all over us either. But we had a real good ball game last night. It got away from us in the 8th inning. But again, we're trying to rest some people and get them ready to prepare them to play on Tuesday night. That's when it counts.
But you talk about wanting to play well. Minnesota has not played well against Toronto. They've won 7 of 10 games this year, 3 of 4 here.
And the scores have been very good, very close games, and whoever got the break usually won the ball game. Last night we ended up walking a couple guys. They blew 2 balls in, and they end up winning. Last week Parker hit the line. They hit one down the left field corner. Again, we're hoping the ball bounces our way on Tuesday, and if it does, look out.
Worst to first. We've now seen Atlanta join the Twins. What about this season? It's really been miraculous when you consider these 2 teams. No one gave them a shot.
Well, we gave ourselves a shot, and that's the only one that counts. Again, if you can add a free agent or 2 and they work out, it can be done to go along with your core people that you have in your ball club, Morris, Pagliarulo, you had Sid Bream and Pendleton, and they have good years. Things can happen. So, again, I'm happy for the Braves. We're sort of like brothers, I guess, in this. We went from last to first, and it'd be real great if we could see each other in the World Series, be something to really talk about. So, again, we got to get by the Blue Jays first, and I know they got to get by the Pirates from very, very good ball clubs. So we both got our work cut out for us.
How do you see Tuesday night's matchup, Tom Candaele against Jack Morris?
2 different style pitchers. Of course, them knuckleballs will be flooding around, and they really do flutter here in the Metrodome. So, it's going to be tough. Candy knows how to pitch, and he knows he can throw his breaking ball when he needs to, and his knuckleball, if it's working, we're in trouble. So, again, we're going to have to be patient, try to get a good pitch to hit, and have a good ball game.
Tom, thanks for joining us. Good luck tonight. We'll see you Tuesday night. Back to you, Pat.
All right, Jim Gray, thank you very much. We want to remind you that on the NFL tomorrow, first I'll remind you about CBS Saturday night movie, Brotherhood of the Gun. Stay tuned for that one, and followed by P.S. I Love You. Then, well, let's just go to the NFL tomorrow because we have the big game, Washington and Chicago. Some of you will see Dallas and Green Bay, Philadelphia and Tampa Bay, Minnesota and Detroit, and in a late start, in our late game, Phoenix and the Giants. Of course, it all begins with the NFL today. Tuesday night, of course, we begin our CBS Sports coverage of the American League Championship Series. It is the Blue Jays against the Twins, as we just heard from the Metrodome. That's at 8:30 Eastern Time. That's it for us on this Saturday. For all of us here at CBS Sports, I'm Pat O'Brien in New York City. And let me just ask, are we going to commercial here? We're going to take one more look at a story that Terry Cashman, the balladeer of Major League Baseball, had done for us. A story to kind of get you in the mood for the postseason. I'm glad I asked. Here's that.
Christy Mathewson, home run Baker, Boston Miracles, was an urban favor. Magical names, oh how they sang, like Pepper Martin and the Gas House Gang. Sing me a song of October, I rise in the fall. Subway series done in black and white. Yogi and Jackie, the shadows, the light. I am the song of October, I rise in the fall. Bob and Robertson, Mo Drabowski, Henderson, Mazeroski. Pictures and faces that you never forget. Algie and Frito, Chandless and Brett. Sing me a song of October, I rise in the fall. Crazy bouncing baseballs, tug with a save. Gibson and Carlton's wave. I am the song of October, I rise in the fall. Country Slaughter Dashing, Harry the Cat. Willie's glove a flashing, Reggie's back. Jackie and Will Clark, Dusty and Don. Playoff baseball classics in the Astrodome.
And it hits the screen. High ball game, home run.
Joe Black and Whitey, orange and green. Colors of autumn on a field of dreams. Sing me a song of October, I rise in the fall. I've seen the glory and tasted the tears, felt the excitement and heard the cheers. I am the song of October, I am the song of October, I am the song of October, I rise in the fall. La 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 la.
Major League Baseball. Today's game has been brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. The Prudential. Come to the companies of the Prudential and build your future on the rock. And by Milwaukee's Best. Here's to the best. Milwaukee's Best.